What's up, brick houses? Today I'm going to teach you how to get a wider back with more definition. Let's work on that V-taper. So the first exercise we're going to do is a lat pull down, and lat pull downs is what primarily most people start with. And the machine we're using today is a leverage lat pull down by Star Trek, but it's the same lat pull down as you would see in a gym where you'd have the lat pull down bar with a cable running to it, cable lat pull downs, or a hammer strength lat pull down. A lat pull down is any exercise, any machine where the elbows are coming straight down to the side like that, and they're primarily targeting just the lat muscles. Now I say that in all the muscles in your back are working, but it's targeting that one area. And like I've said before, it's all a game of angles, and depending on what machine you're using, what angle your elbow is coming down to your side, that's what part of your back you're working. And so for right now, we're doing lat pull downs. We're gonna get 3 sets of 12 on this. That's gonna be our rep range pretty much on everything today. So let's get started. I've got a moderate amount of weight on there to get warmed up. I'm not really going too heavy, but I am gonna crank the weight up pretty sharply every set. On this one, I'm gonna get a medium wide grip. I'm not going way out here. I'll keep my hand on the grip. I'm gonna arch my back slightly, and that's gonna be an important thing to remember in every one of these exercises today, is to arch your back slightly, chin up, and pull down. Driving those elbows down to the side, and don't neglect that bottom position. You wanna give a brief squeeze at the bottom there. And what I mean by that is pause at the bottom of that movement, so you're activating your lat muscles and you're not just slopping through the movement. What you see people doing wrong on this is they'll sit here and they'll crane their head forward and they'll pull down and they'll curve their head downward as they pull to try to pull the weight down. Then they're putting the pressure into something else. So there's set one. I'm gonna take that up pretty heavy. I'm gonna go ahead and jump that on up about 50 pounds, 25 on each side. So let's throw some plates on here. And I always like to kind of remind everybody to re-rack your weights after you get done working out. Don't leave it behind for someone else to pick up your mess. So re-rack your weights after each machine. So we'll rest just a second, but not long. I'm gonna stretch just slightly, get my rear delt stretched out. That one didn't tax me too much. I'm gonna jump right into it for set 2. Now that weight's getting better. Driving those elbows down. I'm breathing out as I pull down, getting a good squeeze. Pulling it down to about ear level. Getting a decent range of motion out of it. I'm letting my arms stretch up at the top and try to stretch that lat muscle out and then pull through the stretch, if that makes any sense to you. Let's get 2 more. Now we're getting there, that's good. Still gonna take it up though. I got a lot of reps out of that, and I'm trying to go kind of heavy here, trying to build my back up and trying to get bigger back muscles. So I am gonna take it up to where I am kind of failing at around somewhere between 8 and 12 reps there. So I'm gonna throw another 20 pounds on each side. These weights will vary by machine and manufacturer. This is a Star Trek machine. So if you're working out on a cable lat pull down, the 90 pounds on each side for this, 180 pounds, could mean that you're doing, 140 pounds on a plate loaded machine. Or the hammer strength machine you're doing, you may be able to pull 3 plates on each side. It's really individual. It's all so, relative to what type of machine and brand of the manufacturer, because all of these are engineered with different angles and different geometries. So just kind of see what you can do, but we're looking to fail at about 8 to 12 reps. We want to fail, but we want to maintain a good range of motion through every one of them. That is so important with back exercises. You don't want to crank the weight so much that you're only getting little half reps, because you only get half development if you're going with half reps. So I'm gonna rest just a second here, a little bit longer. Good stretch I like to do is grab up high on one of the bars or one of the machines, and I'll step back, and I'll take my head and push it down between my arms, stretch my back out, really stretch those lat muscles out. Hang out a little bit longer, we'll crank this weight. This is gonna be pretty heavy. I hope I get 8 reps out of this, honestly. But these last 2 sets went really easy, so hey, maybe I'm getting stronger. That's great. All right, let's go. There we go, that's the weight. I got all 12 of them. Also, one thing I want to add on this is that I am doing this exercise backwards on this machine. I'm supposed to be facing forward on this like this, where I've got something to hold my legs down. But I prefer to go the opposite direction on it, because instead, from this angle, this machine drives my elbows backwards somewhat, and going backwards facing the opposite direction I am right now, my elbows go straight down, and I feel it really hits that outer lat a lot more, and that's what I'm trying to go for, is to get that bigger. The more you have that V-taper, the bigger your lats are, the more it gives the illusion of a smaller waist. And hey, if we can do an exercise that makes my waist look smaller, let's go for it. That's what we're looking for. So that was our lat muscles, and up next is we're gonna get some rows. I'll see you there. One of the best back exercises that you can do is a one-arm dumbbell row. It's gonna hit everything in your back, your mid-back, your rhomboids, your lat muscles. It's a great exercise. Now, you don't necessarily need really heavy weight. You need really good form and to really try to activate and manipulate your back muscles to get the most out of it. So I'm gonna try to keep my weight somewhere around 65 pounds on this through the whole thing. I'm shooting for like 8 reps, 10 reps on everything. So if I don't get that, I'm gonna go down where I can get that, because like I said before, back training isn't about lifting really heavy weights, something you can only do like 3 or 4 times. That may work out fine when you're doing like a bench press or something, but we're trying to really get our back muscles to work, and it's about stretching the muscle before you activate it, because any muscle that you stretch before you contract it will contract harder. You get a bigger peak contraction out of that by getting a small stretch out of the bottom of this movement. So I'm gonna get on this bench and I'm gonna let that come down. I'm really gonna let my shoulders slip forward, and before I even start the movement, I'm gonna begin the movement by riding my shoulder back, and then I'll start my elbow movement. I'm gonna do that all in one motion. So it's kind of like you were gonna row like a kayak or a canoe or something, but we're gonna do it on one side. So here we go. Get on here, I'll get a wide stance out like this. I got one knee on here, and I'm gonna support myself with my palm. I hear some people saying that's hard on your wrist. If it doesn't hurt your wrist, do it. Some people do it on their fist because they say that it's easier on them, but whatever fits you right. It's going from the stretch, driving that elbow up. I'm trying to pin that elbow to my side as I drive up. I'm trying not to over-rotate my torso as I drive that elbow back either. You can see I've got my elbow inward as I pull up, and my leg is kicked out wide for support. I'll take a brief breather between sides, not a long one. I'm not resting a long time like I would traditionally on something that I'd use both arms. Just want to rest long enough to kind of catch my breath a little bit so I don't run out of breath on this opposite side. So, let's do it. Going to my right side. Now my right side is weaker than my left, and you might notice that in some of the videos that you see. I've got a muscular imbalance. My left lat, my left delt, my left rhomboid are all slightly bigger than my right side. I had surgery on my lat muscle years ago, and they severed a bunch of it, so it just hasn't ever gotten the same. but we're gonna work on it to get it up to snuff. Is it weaker? I don't know. Not much. Again, big stretch at the bottom. Same thing, I'm only gonna rest about 20 seconds or so between sides. I'm gonna do this pretty rapid fire because I'm trying to wear these muscles out. Really wanting to get some blood pumped into my lats, really try to get them to flare out. Like I said, we're working on that V-taper. Boom. So let's do it. Crank it. I'm trying not to jerk that weight off the bottom there. I'm trying to pull it pretty uniformly. Little breather. Whew. Now we're getting warmed up. Really feel that in my lower lats. I feel like I'm getting a big stretch out of that, and that stretch is a lot of what's responsible for getting those lower lat muscles to grow. Letting that shoulder slip forward really lets that lat pull forward right there. You can see it in sitting on my ribs. It really stretches forward from that, and as I start that movement, pinning that elbow back really activates that lower lat. Let's do it. All right, one more set. Now working up sweat, digging it. Good back bicep workout. We're also gonna get some biceps at the end of this. We're not just gonna hammer a lot of biceps, but since we're already working our biceps with all this back work, it just makes sense to get a few sets of it in. So we'll get some supersets here at the end just to burn our biceps out, because everybody wants bigger arms, right? I do, I love it. Let's do one more set, let's dive in. If you notice, my rest periods aren't that long. There's a reason for that. I'm trying to fatigue the muscle, to wear it out and break some muscle fibers down, so I initiate that adaptation response to make my muscles bigger. If I'm able to get all my reps with a decent amount of weight, that's long enough rest. Most of the time I see people are waiting way too long between sets. And that's one thing I work on as a personal trainer with my clients, especially when I first get them really closely monitor the other amount of rest time and try to prompt them to go a little bit faster. You'd be surprised at how much better workout they felt like they got, and the results, much better results they get from it by not resting so long in between sets. Whew. All right, last time. Last side, weakest arm. I'm gonna really try to push it. Whew. And that's one arm dumbbell rows. Like I said, one of the best back exercises that you can do. Coming up next, one of Arnold's favorite exercises and one of mine, when it really opens up your rib cage and hits those lat muscles. I'll see you there. Dumbbell pullovers. So this is one of the best back exercises I think that exists. If you've ever read Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, he really talks about how great this exercise is. It will open up your rib cage, it's working your chest, it's working your lat muscles, and I feel like I get a lot out of this exercise. Since I started doing it, I definitely saw a difference in how much bigger my lat muscles were and how much more they cut down into my rib cage. instead of just working this back part of my lat muscle that's right here underneath my arm, I actually got sore way down in here. And every time I do this, my triceps get sore. It's not a tricep exercise, but your arm's fighting so hard to keep that dumbbell up that you're getting tricep work out of it. You're getting a lot of muscles, you get a lot of bang for your buck on this, and I always kind of put it toward the end of the back workout after everything's good and warmed up, after my shoulders are good and warmed up. That way my risk of injury is a little bit lower. So there's also an art to laying back with this thing without crushing your face or your chest. And so I'm gonna pull this back up against my pelvis like this, up against my stomach and my chest. And as I lay back, I'm gonna kind of let it fall into place. And if you'll watch, I'll tumble it up on my pec before I press it up into position. Now, I'm only gonna lower this back until I get a slight stretch out of it. I'm not going back so far. I see a lot of videos of people going back so far into it that it's causing them to arch their back terribly off the bench. You don't have to go back that far. Get a slight stretch out of it, yeah. Pull through that stretch. Like I said before, it's all about range of motion and how you're affecting that muscle. So let's do a set and quit talking. Bring it up to my chest, I'm gonna press it up. From here, I'm lowering it back to right about there. I'm driving them up. Really feel that pull through my abs too. I've got my back arched, my chest pulled up, up over my center. Really trying to drive through the heel of my hand. This is kind of like a pec fly in regards to that negative is way important, almost as important as the positive of lifting the weight. Lowering it down into place. Get a lot of work out of that. Yeah, good stretch. And so from this position, I'm gonna lower it down to my pec, and then I'm just gonna tumble it down to the top of my legs and let it help me get up. It's a leverage exercise. And so I'll sit here for a second and just kind of hold it and rest. I really feel that one down the middle of my back, and I actually feel that stretch in my lower lats. And to me, it's always been really hard for me to feel that in my back. Now my back exercises I really enjoy because I feel like I'm getting some results out of it. And also, back training also hits your rear delts and upper back. And it just goes right hand in hand with making you look bigger and deeper from the side. Set 2, let's go. Good stretch. Good and warmed up now, so I really feel that stretch now. Breathing out as I lift the weights back up over me. One more. Whew. That was a good one. I got some blood in my head. So we're gonna rest for just a second. We'll get one more set of those, and we're gonna end with a finisher. Always end my back workouts, every workout with a finisher. And I'm gonna do chin-ups last. Most people head into their back workout doing their chin-ups first because it's the hardest exercise and they wanna have all their power and strength with it. And I definitely do that sometimes. But at the end of your workout, when everything's fatigued, those reps that you get from your chin-ups count so much more, I believe, than they would in the beginning whenever you're strong and you're just repping some out. So also, if you're trying to build your strength for chin-ups, you might want to do them second in your workout and not exactly first. Do a set, do three or four sets of a lat pull down or some sort of row to get good and warmed up, and I promise then your chin-ups will probably feel a lot better instead of jumping up there and doing the hardest thing. Last set. Arch my back, good stretch. Driving that up, pulling through that stretch.
Don't rush through these. One more. Bring my legs up, top of my thigh, and it helps me get up. It's a leverage. So we got a finisher coming up next. I'll meet you over at the chin-up bar. Chin-ups, the finisher before we burn out on our biceps anyway. So chin-ups are an intimidating exercise for a lot of people because it's not one of those things that you're just naturally good at. It's not like we can just gradate the weight. Now, this particular machine is a chin-up assist, and I can pull this pad out here and put it on my knees, and it'll give me a boost. I can put 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds, whatever, and you can subtract that from your body weight and do pull-ups that way. And that's a great way of gradating yourself up to where you can do your full body weight in a chin-up. But in a lot of gyms, chin-ups are like this. They're up in the air, and if you get up on it, everyone in there is looking at you. Find a machine like a chin-up assist, or get something with a band you can hang down. And I see a lot of people doing that, putting their foot in a band and just work into it and just keep doing it because it will pay off and it will make you much stronger. It will make your upper torso look much more impressive by working chin-ups somehow. Even if you're only able to get 1 or 2 reps or a half a rep, or you have to jump into it, just start somewhere doing them. But for our purposes today, we're doing them last because we're trying to gas every bit of the muscle we got out of this. So I'm gonna go with an inside grip because lat, if I go wide, I'll probably only get like 1. I'd like to get more than 1 or 2, so let's see what we got. Oh, also, I don't know how many sets I'm gonna do on this. My first set is gonna determine how many reps, how many sets I do. If I do 1 set of these and I'm gonna get like 2 or 3, I might try to squeak out a second set, but maybe not. I mean, if you're wore out and you're only getting 2 or 3 reps, at the end, you're good, you're good. So here we go. Going inside grip because I can use my biceps and forearms a little bit more. Pulling up as high as I can. And that wasn't very many. I'm gonna do 1 more set and give myself a rest here. I could tell that those pullovers really wore me out, and that's great. That's what I'm going for. I'm trying to wear my muscles out because I want them to get bigger. I want to initiate that adaptation that's built into me. I'm trying to tear some muscle fibers down so they grow back bigger and stronger every time I work out. So I'm gonna work out, tear up some muscles, I'm gonna go home, eat some protein, and I'm gonna grow bigger muscles. That's your steps. Just wash, rinse, repeat. Let's go ahead and do it. Might as well. This is gonna be ugly. And you get to enjoy the ugliness. Big stretch at the bottom. I'm not doing any half reps. I'm going through a full one. This is not a CrossFit kipping pull-up. This is a full range of motion. I'm gonna try to get 1 more, then I'm gonna lower slowly and get a negative. Here we go. And that brings me to another point. If you're trying to get better at chin-ups and you can only get 2 or 3, that last rep that you get, pull up there and try to lock it in and hold it. Slowly lower yourself down and get a negative. That will make those muscles stronger and help you out. Negatives are a great way to make yourself stronger, especially exercises like this. All right, so we got 1 exercise left. We're gonna do a drop set with some biceps. See you there. Last thing we're doing here is we're gonna blow out our biceps. We've done a bunch of back work up into this point and we've got our biceps good and warmed up. We might as well do an exercise and try to burn them out. I've hit a lot of biceps in my back workout. I'm gonna do a quick one just to kind of burn them out. I'm gonna hit them hard, I'm gonna heavy. I'm not gonna rest very long in between this drop set here. And I recommend you trying that if you're used to doing some big elongated bicep workout, because this way I'm able to work my back and biceps again in a few days instead of hitting it 1 time and it being so sore and then I can't do it again for a week. You're gonna get more volume. If you think about it, if you can pack more workouts in where you're going to almost completely killing them, you're gonna get more out of that over time. And also you're not gonna wear your bicep tendon out, which I don't wanna do. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing easy bar curl drop set. I'm gonna get this
I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I don't even know right now because I can't tell. I'm gonna get some reps on that. I'm gonna strip the 10 off each side and I'm gonna keep rocking on this. That's why I've got my collars kind of out wide there so I don't have to monkey with them, pull them off or anything. And I won't be slinging the weight around too much. Standing up tall. Keeping my elbows against my side. I'm trying not to swing the weight as I curl up. Drop sets mean I will drop the weight. So I will pull my collars off and I will, as quick as possible, strip the 10 off each side, throw my collars back on there and keep rocking. That weight, that rest between those small strip set there needs to be as less as possible because I'm trying to really burn these muscles up. At the end of this, I'm gonna get a couple negatives. Lowering it slowly. Don't neglect your negatives. I'm gonna get a little bit of a kip on this one. Lowering it slow. The rest periods on this is gonna be kind of short. Stretching the bicep out, making a C with my fingers. Feeling that stretch through my forearms and biceps. Throw my 10s back on there and we'll go again. One of the big takeaways from all these how-to videos that I'm doing is to shorten your rest periods. You're probably resting too long. Unless you're trying to power lift where the uppermost weight is your point, like you're trying to get stronger and stronger, you're trying to push your bench press max up or your deadlift PR up. But rest periods, quit looking at your phone and do your set. Or look at your phone, but get off after 30, 45 seconds and go into it. Shorten those rest periods. With that said, let's get the second set. I don't expect to keep getting that many reps. Don't let that worry you. If the point is taxing the muscles out and pushing them to failure, whether I do that with 6 reps or 20 reps right now, at this point doesn't matter. It's about effort, how much exertion you put into each set. Maximum effort, remember. Collar them up. And keep my elbows pulled back, my chest up. Whew. Here we go, the negative. Pin my elbows on my rib cage. Lower that slowly. One more. Fight it. One word of caution on those negatives though. Once you get to a certain point, go ahead and let that fall. Don't ride that negative all the way out to the bottom. That's really hard on your tendons and you don't want to end up tearing your bicep or anything stupid like that. So that negative, ride that down to about 3/4 of a rep and go ahead and release it. Don't let it pull your arms all the way straight. So back in biceps, doesn't have to be a workout that lasts an hour is what I'm saying. It should, if you're doing something longer than 45 minutes, most of the time you're doing something wrong. Unless you're doing those workouts where you're like, I'm gonna do everything in my upper body today, everything in my lower, you know, or if you just enjoy being in the gym, you know, take your time, that's fine. Get your work done, but if you're really trying to up your game and get your muscles to change, it might not be about a specific program. It may be something as simple as lighten the weights down a notch and don't rest as long. Last set. Woo, this is gonna be a good one. Get a good negative on that heavier weight. Whew. All right, fun part. Here we go.
Oh. Here's that negative, pinning my elbows and lowering it slowly. Oh. It's all about intensity. Oh. And that's how hard you need to be pushing yourself if you want your muscles to grow. Whew. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. That's your back and bicep workout. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to get updates of my future uploads. If you have any workouts that you'd like to see, drop them in the comments and let me know what you'd like to see worked on. Thanks.